right, hello everybody.
Yeah, one thing Coach Riley said about Arkansas State's defense is their pass rush, especially at the defensive end. He said you've seen that movie before.
Yeah.
I guess from what you've seen from the offensive line this fall, how confident are you with the pass protection leading into that game?
Well, you got the nation's leader in sacks, and he's going to break the record. I mean, the guy is a good pass rusher, so we're going to have a lot of help knowing where he is, making sure we're getting him covered up and not letting him just go to town. To answer your question, I feel good about our progress up front, and I think that we're improved, but we have to do a good job of helping those edge players, and those edge players have to handle him. He's going to be a threat. He's going to be a challenge. I think they were 6th in the country in sacks as a group last year, so that's a big challenge for our offensive line. And I started the scouting report with that and made sure that they understood exactly that this group can rush the passer. They've proven that, and it's going to be a tough challenge for our line.
Is he coming from either side, or will he be over Gates more often, or the other side?
I think it depends on where the ball is. Yeah, I don't think it'll be matched up on one guy. It'll be more of a field position. But he, especially in the first game, you don't have we don't know everything about what they'll do. We've got stuff to go off of, but we'll have to adjust as we go and make sure we know where he is. But he's a big factor in our game plan.
Do you think that will impact which running back plays, with pass protection being such a high priority?
It's a big part of our game plan, but I don't think it'll necessarily tip the scales a ton. In any time that we have a pass rushing threat like that, we do have to make sure we have solid protection, and we don't want to get in a situation where it's a bunch of one-on-ones without help.
It sounds like Riley has a plan in mind for those running backs. Have you talked through sort of like, he doesn't want to share yet, but maybe you do, but have you talked through who that guy might be that takes the first snap?
Yeah, and nope. So you'll have to wait and see on that. And it's been a process with this group. It's a little bit like last year where nobody has really separated, tremendously ahead of the other guys, and so it's a group that has done a lot of good things. But like I said, it's not one guy that is just broken away from the pack.
Like I said, obviously the goal is to redshirt Tristan, so they're going to do the same process as Patrick last year.
Yeah.
When did that decision become final, or was that something you kind of knew was going to happen?
Yeah, we've talked about that thing. It's kind of been ongoing, and you'd like to do that just for the development, but we'll have to see how it goes and how it plays out. But especially at that position where you're not rotating a bunch of guys, if you don't have to, and so it kind of depends on the situation we're in. But that's ideal. That'd be ideal for his progression.
You guys kind of did the same thing with Patrick last
Mm-hmm.
year. I mean, what did you kind of see he got out of that experience and kind of handling it that way?
I think just the weekly preparation and the process of game planning and studying and watching film, kind of understanding kind of what it takes to get into the each week preparation, and even on the road, just being comfortable with the procedure, traveling, the meetings, kind of getting yourself into that game mode, and being able to watch and experience the game, really up close and as part of that quarterback room. So it's a really good way to continue to develop guys, and if we need him, then I'm also confident that he could play some.
How much better route runner is Pearson this year compared to last year?
I think a lot better. I just think he's healthy and fresh and feeling good. I think he's got some explosion back in his legs, and I think that the ability to really burst and make his cuts has really shown in fall camp. I think he's worked on it hard through the summer, and I just think he's also feeling better. So I think it's a combination of both.
When you look at Jamie Spielman, the kid didn't play last year, you're probably going to lean on him a lot in that first game, just reps. How do you maybe get him ready
for having to play a lot of snaps after not playing any last year.
Yeah, all through, he's in great shape. He's had a lot of work in fall camp. I feel good about his, his conditioning. I think that he's a guy that's deserved a lot of work, and so that's been helpful. We've had to use him a lot, and he's looked good doing it. So I think he's ready to play. I think he's going to be fun to watch.
How excited are you about his versatility? Is he comparable to some players that you've had in your past?
Yeah, I think he has got great quickness. I like him in that inside position because of that quickness, but he's a good route runner too. I think that he's been he's kind of built like James Rogers was for us. He's probably not as strong, but he is quick and he can run, and he's a good route runner. He's tough. He's able to make contested catches inside, but he's also able to work on a safety and a linebacker across the middle. So I think that he's going to be an exciting threat inside.
Hey, Danny, what sort of attributes do you think led to Nick becoming a captain? What's your read on that?
Well, he was a lifter of the year in the weight room, which shows you his work ethic. I think that guys that work hard are usually looked at, as leaders on the team, and he's, I wouldn't say overly vocal, but he'll speak up. I just think he's a great worker, and he's a really good guy, and I think that guys gravitate towards that. He's been a team leader in the off-season program, and I think that they trust him and they respect him, and so he got enough votes and came out as a captain.
With a guy like Tanner, does the volume of plays available to you rise significantly?
Well,
Yes.
Yes, but also, there's a fine line with being overloaded and too heavy and not executing as well. I think he can handle a lot, but as a group, we want to make sure we're not stressing out other positions. You want to have enough. You want to have enough options, but you also need to execute. You need to have things that you can go back to and execute well, and the more you have, the less reps you get at it, so you can fall into that trap of not being able to execute as well. But you certainly, with Tanner, have a lot of options and a lot of things you can feel good about, and that goes in the run game too, with the ability to change plays, to get us in a better play. We talk about best play available, and sometimes it's a bad look for a particular run, and we want to run away from a problem. So those kinds of things are very helpful to get us into better options.
It's excitement level for you. I mean, you still get anxious first game week of the season like that?
Yeah, I do. I think as it gets closer and closer, it's exciting, and I think this has been a long camp. It's been a longer one than we've had in a while, just because of the rule changes and starting earlier. So I think everybody's anxious to play. But the butterflies are flying around pretty good.
Have you been waiting 2 years to call the offense you really want to call?
Oh, I wouldn't say that. I think Tanner is exciting, and he's going to be a lot of fun. But we had a lot of good stuff with Tommy and Riker in the past, and I think just the transition altogether, especially in year one, was just so different for everybody that there were some growing pains. And Tanner hasn't played for us, so there's going to be some rookie stuff with him too. But I like where we're at as a group. I think that we've made a lot of progress really over the last couple of years, and changing the quarterback a little bit will be different. But I like the veteran presence in the line. I like the fact that we've gotten some guys in the perimeter that have played some, and we're so much further along in fall camp than we've been, just because of those guys having another crack at it through spring ball and in a fall camp.
Do you fans' expectations for Tanner?
Yeah.
What would you say? What would you say to those expectations? Like he's going to break every record here.
Yeah,
Season record and all that.
I would say you cool your jets a little bit, and that's not a. I'm not being negative on that. I'm just, you know, it's a lot more than just Tanner. He's going to have to play well, but you know, football being the ultimate team sport, you know, it's 10 other guys on that offense, and he can't do everything, nor do we ask him to. I think it's going to be a critical that everybody plays well, and he'll be the benefit of everybody playing well for sure. But you know, I think that overhype is dangerous. I think that just laying in the weeds and being an even keel is much better way to live, and not riding the wave of the highs and lows. And you know, we have high expectations for him. I think that to say, well, he's a first rounder, it's for sure thing, I think that's kind of silly until he plays some games for the Huskers.
Knowing that, what are one or two things you really want this offense to do on Saturday? I remember last year the Fresno State game. I don't think you were thrilled with the way you guys played after that game. What would you like your offense to do this Saturday?
Just really play efficiently. You know, we want to have good pace and good tempo. We want to look sharp and take care of the ball. You know, all of the things that help win games. But we want to be clicking on all cylinders. We don't want to have to take a timeout because we were in the wrong formation. We lined up incorrectly. We had a bunch of blunders here and there. We just want to play a good, clean game. We want to have when you watch us, we want to look fast and sharp, and you know, great pace. I think that's the biggest thing that we've talked about through camp. You know, like I said, taking care of the ball will be critical. Staying onside, all the stuff that you worry about in game one.
Coach, for a younger guy who maybe hasn't played in front of 90,000 fans before, what advice do you have for them?
For the guys that haven't done that, grow up quick. It's you know, it's a big deal. Some of these guys, and you know, they haven't played in big games, or they've played in front of small crowds wherever they're from. That can be a little unsettling. You know, I know even for me coming out in the first spring game, it's a little different here. That takes about 5 minutes to get used to, and then if you can kind of go from there, you should be all right. But you know, you can't really simulate that, so you got to try to settle them down and have them keep their poise and just tell them to relax and take a deep breath. But it's something that you are concerned about true freshmen, because some of them haven't seen that. So we need them to grow up fast and be poised and ready to play.
Tanner mentioned earlier that the defense has forced a lot of turnovers in fall camp. Do you think that's prepared you guys to see or to make those mistakes that you've already made those mistakes in fall camp, to alleviate some of those when
Yeah,
start playing?
I think just, you know, there's some growing pains, and I think our defense has given us a lot of different looks, pressure-wise, coverage change-ups. It's all been good work. So I think that we have, you know, we don't ever want to practice the turnovers, but hopefully we've gotten some of them out of our system early, and have kind of learned from the mistakes. And that's part of camp. That's part of the installations, and some things not being as good against defenses than others. We're not really game planning our defense. So there's going to be some of those types of things, but you know, I think it will be critical for us going into this game to take care of the ball, and that's hanging on to it and not forcing throws. So anytime, and that goes for every game, we got to make sure and win the turnover battle.
All right, Coach. Throughout camp, we've heard a lot of guys stress the importance of the screen game in the offense this year. Looking at the talent that they've got on the other side of the ball, especially in the front seven, is it going to be maybe even more important this game this weekend?
Yeah, I think you know, you got a pass rush that has as many sacks as they do. They come after you. So if you can neutralize some of that rush and change things up, moving the quarterback and the launch points and the screen game, I think those are all good things to have to be able to combat the big pass rush. All right, thanks.